Welcome to my September reading wrap up. I read 18 books in the month of September, and that equals out for me this month. It was 9,604 pages total. I had a great reading month. I am anticipating next month to actually be significantly better as far as book count goes. Yeah, so I'm excited. We'll get to that in my monthly TBR though, in my October TBR. So let's just get to my September reading wrap up and wrap up all my books. So the videos that I filmed, how I do it is I just go over the videos that I filmed in the month of September and the videos that I posted in the month of September, and put all of those books into this reading wrap up because I don't want to spoil future October videos. And so this is kind of just me convincing you to read those books or convincing you not to. And so I think I had a really great reading month. I read 7 YA fantasy, 5 adult fantasies, and 5 romances. So I read the whole Harry Potter series, I read the whole ACOTAR series, and I read every book that Abby Jimenez came out with, which new news, she's coming out with a book, I think it's beginning of summer next year. I tried to pre-order it on Amazon, and it's only hardcover right now. So just keep an eye out for that. I am excited for that. I think it'll be part of either a new series or just a complete standalone, which I am excited for. But anyways, let's get to this reading wrap up and let's get started. So the first book I read was The Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jimenez. These next 5 books are going to be Abby Jimenez, so I'll tell you when they're not. So The Worst Wingman Ever, this is part of the Improbable Meet Cute series that a lot of popular authors wrote little tiny novellas for. I actually listened to this one completely while I was on like a 5-mile run. And I do listen to audiobooks at like 2.7 speed most of the time, and I'm able to retain that information, so bear that in mind. But it was a quick, I was gonna say read, but it was a quick listen to. The average Goodreads rating for this book is a 4 stars, and my rating for this book was a 4 stars. I'm not gonna spill the synopsis because there's not a lot of information for this book anyways. Yeah, but that is the tea on The Worst Wingman Ever. The next book has love, friendships, and then also a lot of personal growth. It is The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. It has an average Goodreads rating of 4.2 stars, and I rated it 4 stars. It's hard having read Just for the Summer as my first Abby Jimenez book, and then I just can't judge anything next to Just for the Summer because it might be like one of my favorite, well, it is one of my favorite reads of all time, but dare I say it is my favorite read of all time. I think I'm gonna have to reread it sometime, so keep an eye out for that video. It might be at the end of the year though. Maybe I'll do like a rereading my favorite books of 2024 video. Yeah, so this one I rated 4 stars. It is just about 2 people. I don't want to spill too much is kind of the issue. But you can go look up the synopsis of these books. I think I'll just give my review on them, and you can look up the synopsis if you've been eyeing these books. But what I would say about this book is it was so good. I love Abby Jimenez's writing style. I just think there was a lot of trauma dumping, and I didn't exactly love the way it was done, but I thought it was still good. I just think it could have been done a little bit better, so it didn't feel like it was like sad event after sad event after sad event. Yeah, but that's literally the only critique I have, and I don't know if she got rid of 1 or 2 things that it would be boring. That's hard to guess. Yeah, so that's my take on The Friend Zone. Okay, the next book, I can't give too much away because it does involve one of the side characters in the first book. This is the Happy Ever After playlist, and the information that is involved does spoil the first book. So I don't, even though they are interconnected standalones, you could read them separate, but I don't want to like spoil it for you. But she falls in love for this pop star that she like barely knows, and she meets him through his lost dog, which is such a cute story. The average Goodreads rating for this is a 4.3 stars, and I rated this book 4.75 stars. There wasn't too much wrong with this book, actually. I just didn't get the 5-star feeling. I didn't feel like it was like one of my favorites from her. But I don't know, it had a little bit of a miscommunication trope, but I felt like it did well handling it, so it still got 4.75 stars. The next book was Life's Too Short. It has an average Goodreads rating of 4.3 stars, and I actually rated this one 5 stars, which is her oldest book that I've given 5 stars, which is so exciting. I loved the character growth in this book, and it was just so good. The character growth was great. I also did notice that some of the characters did not have any like growth, and they kind of just like stayed the same, but then she like grew away from them, and I appreciate that storyline so much. And I think that sometimes like authors and books are like, oh, like we need to fix them, and it's like, no, like it's okay to like do what's best for you, you know. So I thought that was great. I love this book. First 5 stars from Abby Jimenez for sure. The next book was Part of Your World, also by Abby Jimenez. It has a 4.2 average rating on Goodreads, and I rated it 4.5 stars. My biggest critique would be it started on, and not even a critique, but this is just like personal preference, it started on a one-night stand, and then it had like a lot of smut later in the, or not smut, but like spicy scenes later in the book. And I'm just like, I'm not here for that too much. I feel like as I've grown and evolved into more of a reader, I'm more closed door romances. Is it closed door or closed book? Yeah, but I just don't like too much spice in my romances. And this one was just a little bit too much, unless it's done right. And I think Just for the Summer has like a little bit, and it's done right. So she learns how to do it well later. Yeah, but this one wasn't my favorite book from her. Her next book is Yours Truly. It has a 4.4 average rating on Goodreads, and then I rated it 5 stars. I think this book is so good. I love how it handles anxiety, and it's like the first book of hers that actually deals with like big problems that people have, and like personal emotional problems that people have. Yeah, and just I don't know, it's so good. And I just love, and he is like he would do anything for her type of person, and I love that so much. I will fall for that, and I am here for that in any romance book. Pretty much if it has that, then it's like, okay, like you got me. Yeah, so I rated that one 5 stars. And that's the last of the Abby Jimenez books I read for the month. So next we'll rate the ACOTAR books. So the first was A Court of Thorns and Roses. This one has a 4.2 average rating on Goodreads. I rated this one 4 stars. It fell a little bit flat. I'm glad I continued the series because I felt like this one was good. I just thought like, oh, like we've kind of seen this before. Like it's genuinely, like people will say it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it is Beauty and the Beast. Like there's nothing else about it. Like it literally is Beauty and the Beast. And I just think it lacked a little bit of originality. But that's okay. I still rated it 4 stars because I loved the author's writing. I really loved Tamlin and Feyre and their connection in this book. Yeah, let's talk about the next book. The next book is A Court of Mist and Fury. This one has a 4.6 average Goodreads rating, which is crazy. I'm like, that's so high. I rated it 5 stars. So I contributed to it being that high. I'm not going to name MMCs or FMCs anymore because I don't want to spoil the book for anybody that hasn't read it. If you haven't read it, go read it though, because the MMCs he delivered a 20-page declaration of his love for the FMC, and I ate it up. 20 pages of him just like literally explaining why and how he loves Feyre. It's so good. I loved it. I'm obsessed. Yeah, their chemistry in this one was so good. Then the next one is A Court of Wings and Ruin. This one has a 4.5 average Goodreads rating, and I rated this one 5 stars. I know that this one people don't like as much as the second book, but I actually liked it more. I felt like we got to know the characters a little bit more in depth. We also got to see more friendships, and then we also got to see like the actual fantasy part of the book, which was great. Like, it delved deep into it, and I really enjoyed it. It's my favorite book of the series. The next book is A Court, Frost and Starlight. This one has a 4.1 average Goodreads rating, and I rated it 5 stars. It's just a little short novella, and it's kind of like you know how like sometimes shows or like movies will have like a little Christmas episode? This is exactly what that was. It's not a necessary read, and I would also argue you could read the first 3 books and be done there. Like, these 2 books are not necessary for anything. This one is just a little cute Christmas read. I loved the friendship development in this book, and that's why I rated it 5 stars. Just because the fan family in this series is so good. And then the last book from the ACOTAR series I read was A Court of Silver Flames. This one was rated 4.3 stars on Goodreads, and then I rated it 4.5. We got Nesta's perspective with her love interest, and it was just her perspective of her journey. She gets turned into a high fae when she didn't want to, and she's trying to like grapple with that and live with that and learn to survive. There was a lot of smut, like a lot, and that wasn't my favorite. I felt like the writing style wasn't my favorite. It also was written in 3rd person rather than 1st person like the other 2 books were, and I was like, okay, like that wasn't the plan. And I just didn't like that. And it just jumped perspectives a lot, which was strange to me. But I would still recommend it. Like, I would say, like, yeah, like, read on. But it wasn't my favorite. I don't get the hype behind this specific book, but that's okay. Okay, the next book was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This one has an average Goodreads rating of 4.5 stars, and I rated it 4 stars. I felt like it was a good book, like very solid. The hard thing is, like, I feel like I've like heard a lot about this book, so I didn't feel like it was like anything new to me. But I felt like it was a good book. I thought it was solid, just a good introductory book. And we were just getting to know the characters, but we don't have like a lot of fan family yet for the series, so it's just like a good book. The next book is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This one has a 4.4 average Goodreads rating. I rated it 4.5 stars. It's so good. I love the character growth and them growing together. I also love knowing more of Voldemort's secrets. Just the character growth in these books has been so good. I already feel like I want to reread them, and maybe I'll do that next year. But maybe I'll watch the movies instead, because I feel like that would be good, like a good way to kind of do it. 4.5 stars. Okay, the next book was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I rated this one the average Goodreads rating was 4.6 stars. I rated this one 4.7 stars. I thought it was perfect, minus the fact that it literally told us Hermione was busy like 15 times in the whole book. I'm like, okay, which may not seem like a lot, but it's like constantly they're like, oh, and Hermione is taking 3 classes at the same time, and she's so busy, and she's doing this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, like, I get it. Like, she's busy. She's a busy girl. Like, we get it. And it just kind of drove me a little bit insane, but that's okay. That's the only reason I rated it lower than a 5-star. And the next book is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The average Goodreads rating on this book is also 4.6 stars. I rated this one 5 stars. I feel like this is where the series really turned around for me and I was really starting to love it. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this book. It was so good. It's hard to like give a synopsis if it's so far in. It was so good. Also, I think characters start to die in this book, and nobody told me that was gonna happen, and maybe it's the next book, but I'm not happy with you for that, because I can't handle it. 2 of my favorite characters die in these last 4 books, and it's so sad to me, and I'm not here for it, and I don't forgive you for that. And then the last book is okay, the next book is Harry Potter in the Order of the Phoenix. This one has a 4.5 average rating on Goodreads, and I rated this one 5 stars too. Similar to this book before, I felt like it was great. Nothing to like pick out. I love this series so far from where I was sitting. That's literally what I wrote in my Goodreads rating was, I love this series. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Yeah, and then the 5th book was, the 6th book was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This one is rated 4.6 stars. On Goodreads, I rated this one a 4.25 stars. I felt like it was a filler book, and maybe I just need to reread it and I miss a little bit. But it could have been better. There was nothing happening in this book for me. And then the last book is obviously Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This one has an average Goodreads rating of 4.6 stars, and I rated it 5 stars. I did not want the series to end, and I'm so sad it did. But I'm glad I get to move on to new books. And that is the end of this reading wrap up. I had a very successful month of readings. Yeah, if I had to pick a favorite book, I think it would be A Court of Wings and Ruin. Oh, it's so good. Please go read the ACOTAR series if you haven't already. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me if you've read any of these books that I've talked about.